Slurpy diddly doo, my little chickens. I hope you're all doing wonderful. Couple of shout outs because I haven't done any for a while. Big ups to I Am Protos. Shout out to Darotim, my G. Big ups to the Algorist as well. We're going to start a no compressed support group. Absolutely. James, previously Bob. What happened with the name change there, man? What was wrong with Bob? Bob's a great name. It says, could you make a video about making pads for liquid D&B? I'll try and do that next, actually, after this one. I'm going to share a little a dank bass sound today. MVNFRE official. Thank you as well. Pepsi Man, big ups to you. Big ups to Telev Sund. And Koba, my G from Discord. Always great to have your comments on the channel. Music by Holloway as well. Thank you for writing in. Mike Briggs and Jean-Michel Ibelot. We love you too. Warrior Sound as well. That was a very funny comment about compress everything harder, clip it and compress it again. Digipax, my G, dropping a track on our label tomorrow. And Claude Young, who's just recently joined the channel and is enjoying it. Thank you for hopping aboard our crazy train here. And today I'm just going to do a really brief video on explaining how I made the Touch of Dank bass preset, which is in my latest pack, the Pioneer one. And I thought I'd explain this one because it's really, really easy to explain, to be honest. It's not super complicated, and but it sounds great. And this is what it sounds like. Okay. I wanted to have a bass that was like kind of slowly evolving over time. So that was the kind of concept for that one. And you have got a few macros on it as well. Which do change things around to a certain degree. But the main part of the patch is quite simple. So let's dive in, and I'll switch off all of the effects here. And what we're basically going to do is just talk about the sound sources, which is very, very easy. So we've really got three. We've got white noise. We've got a sample, which is within phase plant. And then we've got a sine wave. So what I do with the white noise often is, yeah, you can put this like either before your sine wave or before the sample. It just kind of depends on what you're going for. But I've decided to have the white noise in here with the sample in the same group, and then using that combination of the sample with the white noise to FM a sine wave. So that's why I've done it in here. So yeah, just obviously selecting, you know, the noise generator, and we've just got the white noise, sort of this one on the left, the slope controlling the brightness, so it's quite bright, really very stereoed. And then after the noise, I've placed a high pass filter, and so I've gone up fairly high, or you know, up to 6.5K or something here. And then yeah, that's making sure that we don't have any of this horrible muddy low end white noise. I'm just using it to fill out the tops. It's the little salt and pepper on top of the dish. Okay. The sample that I've gone for is one that's also built in within phase plant, which is on the grains and then the chords, and then it's the recorder octave blend. And so on its own, that one sounds like, well, I've actually, you'll see why. I'll turn the gain down here, but so there you've got the recorder and the white noise together. And I knew that this kind of recorder sound, because it's quite natural, but it kind of like, I can feel that it would fit well with a sine wave when I use frequency modulation, you know, just from experience. So the noise and the recorder together, that's our first group. That's that part done. And we set the output here to go into the phase of a sine wave. Okay, so let's turn on the sine wave, which is at -24. We've just put a little bit of detuning on the recorder here. So I've actually taken it down like -12.19. So there's a little bit of detuning there. But the output of this whole channel, this whole group, sorry, going into the sine wave, and then the gain on the first group comes down. So no sound is coming directly out of this group anymore. It's all just going through the FM, okay? And we can control how much, obviously, we want here. So a nice balance around sort of 133 degrees or so here. Okay, and that's basically everything set up. And already you've got a great amount of movement on this patch, and I haven't even used any modulation for this so far, you know. And all of that lovely movement is just coming from the fact that the recorder has this kind of movement in the sample already, you know, but then obviously running that through the sine wave with the white noise, giving it that modern edge and power and loveliness. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to the effects and just enhance it now. And I don't use the global unison on this one. We'll be using some chorus, some ensemble in the effects section, but yeah, sometimes I don't always have to use the global unison. It kind of depends. This one didn't really need it. And the only other modulation is a randomizer, okay? And this one is going to affect a couple of things in our effects, namely the first thing here, which is our nonlinear filter. And I love this one because you can really start to shape the sound with the nonlinear filter. Basically, you know, without it, you're kind of just hoping for the best, you know. But when you put on a notch filter and choose a nice color, more often than not, you're going to be able to shape the sound in a much more unique kind of way. And so I'm just moving around that notch point very, very slightly with the randomizer. Okay, you can see it was tracked to a macro as well there, but disregarding the macros for this tutorial because they're just bonus optional. The movement is built in this sweeping kind of motion through the randomizer. So just, you know, easy to set up a random. You know, I turn the smooth up so it's not like chopping up and down. It's going, you know, slowly up and down. And then I've left the rate how it was, and you can just control here like how much up and down you want. So anyway, that's set on there, and the output of the random goes onto the notch, and then essentially you're left with a bit of extra life as it sort of moves around a little bit, that crucial notch frequency. Okay, powering things up as we go forward with a fold back shaper setting. So obviously we get really a lot nicer now. And because we filtered it first, now we're kind of boosting it all through the drive on the distortion, giving even more emphasis to the low end and the high end, so it feels like much more powerful in the lows and highs. Okay, but if I hadn't done that filter, it would feel a little bit more boomy in the mid-range, the low mid-range, which is not as tight and defined as if the filter is on, you know. So more emphasis on the sub part and the high part because of that, especially when it's gone through the shaper. I'm going to add on another distortion because this one is quite different sounding and also just takes it to another level. So yeah, really, really great, this one. Overdrive, and here we also have a bit of movement on the spread. So the stereo moves around a little bit, and the bias, which is kind of like almost the tonality of the distortion, that's shifting around a little bit on our randomizer here. And then that's all the automation in the patch done already, you know. Okay, you can hear as you get to this part in the recorder sample where the actual recorder gets loud. You know, the whole the whole patch gets pretty insane at that point, but you don't have to play it all the way up to there. And obviously you can change your sample start position, which is why I set this thing up here. So if I wanted to start after that thing, I could start it around here. That's always a bit mental there as well still. But yeah, there's like loads of different textures that you'll get through all of that. And, you know, for me, I would just pick which one I thought would fit with the song that I'm working on the best in that moment, you know? Anyway, moving on, just to finish up the patch, we have a couple of extra effects here. So here we go for the ensemble. And this is just great because yeah, it's just quite a nice effect that usually works pretty well on everything. As long as you don't go overboard, stick to 20 or 30%, and it's gonna be pretty decent. And oh, by the way, this is my little Germany Euro 2024 thing that I stole. But yeah, basically, I'm kind of supporting England first. Germany are my second favourite. I've got my little England flag up there as well. I like football. I like countries. What do you want from me? Right, Convolver next, which is the mix is at 5%. So it's just to add a little realistic room tail. That's pretty much the only reason I've done that. And then a dual delay as well, similar kind of thing. Lovely little tail to polish off the sound. And then basically a little high-end boost. I love to do this quite often. I feel like it's a great way to glue the sound together once you've got loads of effects and stuff. Doing a little high-end boost, it always kind of helps, just with an EQ. And then we've got a little bit of... this is a big reverb, which is just for my macro up here, which is my wash macro, which will basically... yeah, just really reverb the sound out. If you want to like do that with your automation, you can. Obviously, this patch, like I said, is in my latest preset pack, Pioneer. Thank you for everyone who grabbed that already. And but yeah, as you can see, this specific one was not so complicated to make, and just being a bit clever with what sound sources you start off with, what you're gonna run through into the sine wave, that kind of thing. Really worth paying attention to, because if you find something that will naturally just blend well with a sine wave, you can create a cool bass sound like this with ease. And it's got that kind of dank, dark, evil D&B feeling already, and was just kind of naturally like that to begin with. All I've done over here is just enhanced it, you know. But yeah, that's the touch of dank anyway. Hope you guys enjoy that. If you guys want to leave any comments down below on what kind of videos you'd like to see next from me, I'm always reading your comments, and I'm always on the lookout for great suggestions. Sometimes you guys will know better than me what you think could help in terms of tutorials, you know, whether it's mix down advice, composition advice, layering, different specific synthesis tips, you know, mindset, motivation, that kind of stuff. Like, if you guys want to help out and leave some suggestions, what you guys want to see next, I'll happily check that out and see what I can come up with. Anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and make sure you stick around tomorrow on the channel. We're going to upload the next label release from Digipacks from Discord, and it's going to be a lot of fun, that one. It's quite a neuro banger. So until then, peace out. Ciao, ciao.